Hello, again, I'm James from Michigan DJ Service, and you are here for installment number 2 for the Michigan DJ Service training system. Part 2, which we're going to be going over this evening, are some general things to remember when you're doing an event. Number 1, never, under any circumstances, let somebody behind your DJ booth. They are never to come around, look at your screens to see music, come around for any reason whatsoever. As soon as you let somebody around the back of the DJ booth, it's going to be okay for people to come back there all evening long, and at some point you will no longer be the DJ. That drunk idiot that wants to play Leonard Skinner will take over your event. It's just bad policy. It's very unsafe. Never let it happen. A couple of things to kind of keep in mind, or a couple of tactics that I've used that have worked pretty well in keeping people from coming around the DJ booth. As soon as somebody comes up to the DJ booth to make a song request, make sure you quickly point them at the notepad that you have at the end of your table. As soon as you focus them on the notepad, that will take the focus out of them carrying on a long dialogue with yourself. You don't want this dialogue to go on, and it will. Do you remember that song? It kind of goes like this. I think it was, this will go on all night long. And the more you spend time talking with this person trying to come up with this song that you probably will never play because it sucks and it's not danceable, you could be spending time reading your crowd and doing what it takes to execute a great event. So number 1, as soon as they approach you to ask them or to make a song request, quickly point them at the notepad and have them write their song request down there. If they do continue to bother you regarding playing a song, let them know that, hey, I'm still looking for that song. I'll try to work it in with the next set. But you always just try to redirect them. Try not to tell them that, no, we don't have it, or don't say, no, I don't want to play it. Never say anything like that. Just say, hey, I'm still looking for that one. I'll try to get it on a little later. If they do come back and bug you about the song, and you have a packed dance floor. I mean, if you don't have a packed dance floor or there's nobody out, by all means, play the song if it's appropriate. If it's not appropriate, you can tell them that. Say, hey, you know what, this is a wedding reception, or this is a birthday party. The people that, kind of had me out here wanted me to play clean music. However, again, like I said, if you have a packed dance floor and they want you to play some Tom Petty, you probably don't want to do that. It's going to clear your dance floor. Just let that person know, hey, I'll try to work it in, as the night goes on, but, I haven't quite found the track yet. But again, that drunk idiot may come back up to the DJ booth again and say, hey, where's my Tom Petty? At that point, you might want to say, you know what, I don't have that, but you know what, I have some Bob Seger. And mention a danceable Bob Seger song. That way you can kind of redirect him from that song that's going to clear the dance floor to a song that's actually going to kind of keep your event moving. So keep that in mind. You really need to be comfortable and have your tactics set up on how you're going to deal with people that are making song requests that are just going to clear your dance floor. A couple of other things to remember when it comes to just kind of playing music just in general. Most of our events, we get a pretty extensive music playlist from the client. One thing I always try to do before the event or right at the start of the event is to work all those non-danceable songs during cocktail and dinner, kind of the dinner time. You're not going to want to pull out, those slow songs, let's say Jack Johnson or Bublé. Sinatra, maybe Sinatra for a slow song, but you're not going to want to have a lot of those songs left over in your playlist once the dancing starts. So go through your playlist at the beginning of the evening. Put little check marks or little S's next to them, or D's for dinner. Put some notations next to those slow songs so that you can play them during dinner, kind of get them out of the way. That way, once you move into the dance portion of the evening, you can stick with those songs that are going to kind of keep the dance floor moving and kind of keep everybody having a good time. One of the worst things we can see, or that we'll notice as DJs, is our guests going for purses and keys. As soon as they start to go for purses and keys, you're not doing your job. Another thing that we always like to kind of discuss and learn a better way to deal with is how do you deal with a heckler? Everybody's got their own technique. A lot of people will heckle back. A lot of people will try to do the opposite of what the heckler say. I say just ignore them. If you ignore the heckler, they're going to move on to something else. They're not getting what they're looking for out of you because you're not responding to it. So just ignore the heckler. They'll probably move on at that point. Another thing to keep in mind, we at Michigan DJ Service contract with our clients for a specific amount of time. 4-hour event, 5-hour event, 6-hour event. Sometimes though, at the end of the event, at the end of those 5 hours, things are really rocking, things maybe kind of start a little bit late, and that client wants to go with you another hour. If that's the case, we love overtime, no problem. Keep this in mind. It always has to be prepaid. They can't pay you after a half hour or in an hour. If they want an extra hour, they have to pay the overtime rate, pay it up front, then you can play. If you try to get payment after you kind of get started, you may not get the payment at all. They might, let you go into overtime, and they may be people only stay for another 40 minutes, so they try to pay you, for half the time. If you're going to go into overtime, great. We love overtime, but make sure that you get the payment ahead of time, and it must be a full hour. Also, when it comes to overtime, if it is kind of an early event and you want to make sure that this crowd, just kind of keeps on going, and you want to earn that little bit of extra money, drop your best tracks right before your event is supposed to end. Hold a couple of your real danceable songs right to the end there. I don't know, hit them with the YMCA or the Flow Rider or something. Right there at about 3 minutes, 2 minutes to the end of the event. And then while you got the entire place rocking, go up and, talk to the bride, the groom, and say, hey, we're about 2 minutes out. We can end it after the song, or if you like, we can go into overtime. Make sure you do it with your back to the crowd so they can see everybody rocking, having a good time. Guaranteed overtime every time if you do it like that. A couple of things to also kind of keep in mind is how do we deal with mispronunciations or stuttering? We're humans. Even though we're DJs, we do this every weekend. We still mispronounce, we still stutter, we still, butcher a word or a name or whatever. That's fine. What I find one of the best ways to deal with that, make fun of yourself. Just come up with a little funny to kind of correct it and move on. A couple of things that we've used in the past is, whoops, let me try that again in English. That one always works well. Or, oops, I made a mistake. My mistakes are free. The next one you can charge me for. Just come up with some little goofy, response. People will laugh. You'll move on. Keeps things real light. Nothing wrong. People know we're human. As long as you kind of make it funny, it usually goes over pretty well. Another way, or another thing we always like to prepare people for is, let's say you do have some sort of equipment malfunction. Let's say a track drops out for some reason, the power goes out, which has happened to me on numerous occasions. Maybe you do have some sort of equipment failure with the computer or whatever. Whatever the case may be, again, what I find one of the best things to do is to be humorous. Do what you need to get the music back on, but be humorous. Some of the things that we've said in the past is, oops, looks like we didn't pay our power bill. Hold on a second, let me get a quarter out of my pocket, drop it back into the DETE quarter receptacle here. We're back online. Or maybe, another one is, hey, maybe I need to tell those mics to start moving those pedals again so we can get the electricity going. Again, just something to, kind of lighten the moment, get your gear back running. As soon as you get it back online, people will be fine. But, drop a little joke in there, be humorous, people will understand.